in Arkham Origins, you locate Black Mask, Roman Sionis, if anyone doesn't know, but they do. So we get up to that point where we know who the big boss is. If you don't, then play Arkham Origins, I beg you. But listen, we find out who, you know, what's happening, what's going on, and then at some point Batman gets infected, and I'm playing this and I'm just thinking, this is literally the same thing that I've, like, I don't know, I'm getting some form of deja vu. Like, that's what I'm trying to circle here. It's like Rocksteady just have this weird sense of deja vu, like they just feel the need to copy and paste and copy what they do, and it's just like there's nothing new explored. It's just, hey, Batman's infected, let's show you why he's been infected. It's never Batman can save a civilian from this guy. It's just Batman's infected, Batman's affected. He's traumatized, and that's why he's taking himself out of the story. And he didn't need to do that. Rocksteady didn't need to do that, and they feel the need to do it. Nobody knows why. What about Arkham Knight? I don't even want to say it, but what happened there, mate? I feel if we were to go down the road of Arkham, people would just think I hate Arkham. But I think one thing that Gotham Knights is showing me is it has no interest in doing what Arkham did, and it wants to give you that world. And to me, the world is probably the best aspect of this game, and that's something that Arkham never did. This is history, you know, when you look at Arkham, you know, but I've encountered many times playing Arkham Asylum when I'm running around. Like, I think one thing I respect most about playing it is the more you run around the game, like, you know, you look at these areas, like areas that you can't even go, you sort of contemplate to think there's a history, a deep history to Arkham no one will ever explore, and that's Rocksteady. They had, when they were developing the games from 2009 all the way through to 2015, they had a long time to develop the world of Arkham, and it didn't have to be Arkham. It could have literally still been the Arkham title and been exploring Gotham, and that was something that they missed and didn't do. Because to me, I said this yesterday while I was playing Arkham City, you know, I was on that mission, the Tiger Guards mission, the Protocol 10, and I just thought, in every Batman game I've ever played, because I've played all 4 of them, I haven't beaten them all. I've beaten Arkham Asylum, and then I beat Return to Arkham Asylum and Return to Arkham City. So I've got that experience there. But you know, what I'm essentially trying to say is, you are Batman, but in every story you're just doing the same thing. Arkham Asylum 2009, let's say that one for example. What do you do? Well, you bring in Joker, and then he breaks free, and then he says welcome to the madhouse. You beat up a couple of thugs, and then you try and chase after him, and then, you know, you finally catch up to him, and then he gets a Titan goon, well, you know, a Titan guy, right, and it's an infected inmate, right, and he's basically, you know, been injected with that venom that Bane uses, and he basically charges for you, and then at some point throughout the fight you beat him or whatever, and then he just, you know, he's something happens, and then he falls to the floor, and then Joker's like, note to self, need stronger test subjects, and that is an indication. Like, I think what Arkham does better than many movies, because movies suck, right, because the people that work behind the movies are shit, right, they're shit anyway, but this is why I like Rocksteady, and I like the people at Rocksteady. They do so much foreshadowing than actually actual storytelling. And what foreshadowing to me means is they literally give you a sort of summary or a synopsis, like, hey players, this is what the story's gonna be about. So there's not gonna be so many villains being explored, but this is what you'll see throughout the game. And as luck would have it, like what Penguin says in Arkham City, that's kind of what happens. You don't come out of that habit of you know, beating up Titan thugs, because you get used to it throughout the games. The takedowns are very different, because in Arkham Asylum it's a batarang to stun him. In Arkham City it's 3 stuns and then a beatdown. But what I'm trying to essentially say is that was the story. Was it a good story or was it a bad story? For me, it was just a story. It wasn't a solid story, because if it was a solid story, Joker wouldn't have been the main villain that had infected himself, but it was. So it wasn't to me. Because again, it's like he tried to inject that into Batman to turn him into a into a Titan, and I was just looking at him like, what are you serious, bro? And then the same thing in Batman Arkham City. He couldn't beat him in Arkham Asylum, so next thing he thought, wow, what can I do? Oh, I got it, I'll infect him with my blood, see how that goes. Didn't go well, did it? No, it didn't. Because here's something you gotta bear in mind. Most of Joker's plans, they fail. And he's considered to be, if I'm not mistaken, one of the best villains in the lore. Yep, the lore of Batman. Not just the lore of Batman, but the DC comics. And Rocksteady highlight how good they are, but how bad they are at the same time, and I'll explain. You have these amazing villains, these amazing characters, like Victor Zsasz, or Scarecrow, or Killer Croc, or Killer Moth, who was never even included in the... But here's where it gets good. Or Penguin. Let's not even go there. Because these villains have a tendency to show you in the games that they are capable, that they are a menace in their own right, and they deserve to be taken seriously. And to me, looking at them, listening to them, I agree. You are a menace. And like, I've been watching a lot of Gotham Knights videos, and I say it's not a comparison. I say, you're a villain, right? Or a thug, or a goon, or whatever, right? You got firearms, or whatever weapons you have, right? So the whole purpose of being a villain is to make the player, or the character that you represent, or the character you like, make them feel threatened. And I feel nowadays it's not that, bro. I like the opening minutes of that video when they literally talk about the history of Gotham, because I think the moment I heard it, you know, and one of my favorite YouTubers quoting that, right, in one of his videos, what he hoped Gotham Knights would do, it's kind of the thing that made me respect him, because it's like, it's something a lot of people, even who come into that developing, publishing, whatever side of things, that work on these games, that passion for it just kind of goes over their head, because they just aren't serious about it. And I think especially for something like Rocksteady, for something like Arkham, you have to realize, especially just hearing how they just, you know, like how good they were, and that they were the A-team, and you just kind of ask questions like, after Arkham Knight, like, people weren't begging for sequels. People wanted to understand why these worlds were so small, cramped, like there was just so little, and you know, and it's the same question I have, because I look at Gotham Knights and I think there really isn't anything little, and I hate leaks, I hate seeing footage, I hate seeing these kind of videos, these kind of pictures, because, you know, I want to play it, and people just want to share this to sort of say, you know, are you sure you want this? Are you sure you want this? And then it's just like I contemplate whether to get it or not. You know what I mean? And that was never the case with Arkham, because again, I did play Arkham, but I wasn't obsessed with Arkham. Like I'd watch the reveal trailers when it came out. I was kind of happy that I got it when it came out. But I played Arkham Asylum in 2010 to 2011, and I also played Return to Arkham Asylum and City, I think in 2016, 2017, I can't remember, but I played it when Return to Arkham was a big deal. So, you know, and I still play it to this day, but what I'm essentially trying to say is, I just wish these stories in Arkham hadn't been the same. Whether it's Riddler or the Joker, I just wanted them to do something different that they had the opportunity to. You know, a lack of creativity. It's never that, bro. It's never that. You never. The way I see it is, these people know what they want, and that's how these people need to be. You know what I'm saying? You need to literally work on a series like this, or work on a game like this, and fully flush out every sort of, you know, detail as possible, like as much as you can, because this isn't just essentially, you know, it's not just Wayne Enterprises, or, you know, just, you know, brick for brick, or, you know, wall for wall, or, you know, building by building. You know, this is a history. You know, there's a history to it, you know, and, you know, there's Narrows, there's Arkham Asylum, you know, there's a bunch of famous locations, right? And, you know, there's always so much you can do with that, and the level of creativity, because it's concept art, right? It fucking is, right? And there's just so much you can do with it, and that's what you should do. You should look at it and say, I did that. I'm fucking proud of that, bro. You know, and a lot of people that work on it, they have the patience to do it, and I applaud them, because it's a hard thing to do. It's really hard, you know, especially just reading out that history part, or, you know, like the boats and everything the before it, like, you know, the founding families, and then, you know, the court of owls and everything. That's what I always wanted. But not just the villains, it's just the history behind it, because it's like not just the villains that lurk the streets, knowing that there aren't any heroes to save the day, because this is before the Gotham Knights show up to show Gotham that they are the new, you know, heroes in town. But to essentially, you know, show these villains that, you know, then their names mean something, and they are the Gotham Knights. It's very important that, you know, we remember where, you know, what Rock City did for the characters, the villains, you know. And I will always appreciate the stories, the games. I'll never stop playing them. I'll never stop talking about them. I'll never stop thinking about them. But, you know, there's always a high expectation, and I'm a progressive person myself. You know, like, with a sense of repetition, because it's like, what's the point in repeating yourself when you could just, you know, go off and explore a new idea?